Alright, hopefully we are going live. Yay, it's working. Let me just update this. There. Oops. Okay. Hey guys. My cam? Yo, punker. Alright. I have some people watching already. There we go. So I'm just waiting a little bit more. Some more people can join us. So we can start. Alright. Okay, I think we can start now. So today we're gonna be focusing on sound designing, and I'm gonna show you guys how I start my basses, and maybe I'm gonna show you how to make actual drums, like kicks, because it's quite easy, to be honest. It's something cool to know how to make on Serum, so you guys can learn a little bit more. I hope it helps. I'm gonna show you what I know. So let's see. Let's start with some dubstep tracks, which is my main genre. So I'm gonna make a first bass so I can start looping and making others, because that's basically how I work. I make one patch and then I duplicate it several times and I change it like a lot, but still keep the consistency. That helps a lot with keeping the basses, you know, to sound to actually fit with each other. It's quite easy. I'm gonna show you guys. So first, the first thing that it's awesome for you to know, like when you work on Serum, is you need to know your wavetables. I forgot the name, but yeah, you must know at least a few pegs, like your favorite wavetables, and actually helps you a lot to know from where to start when you have a bass in your mind. Like for example, let's go for multi-layer. Wait. I know. I have just too many. I know all of them. It's just that I can't remember in what packs they are. Oops, not this one. But yeah. Damn. Where is it? Okay, anyways, I'm gonna pick a random one from actually the stock thing that comes with Serum. There. So let's go. And digital, just checking some wavetables. Check if like the texture that the wavetable has fits with the sound that you want to make. That's gonna help you a lot. Sounds pretty cool. Then I add some voices. Turn this off. There. I like this metallic sound, so I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna crush it a little bit with FM, and I'm gonna actually not crush. I'm gonna distort it with another wavetable on top of it. So I'm gonna look for something like massive wavetables like this one. Whoops, not like that. Alright. And unison should go up. Random should go to 0. It's getting heavy. And then you can add some filters. Like high pass filter, low pass filter. High pass. Actually, I'm gonna use band pass. Oops. 12. Sounds really cool. You can start to add some effects, like basic ones like compressor and hyper and dimension expander. Okay, if you guys want to just throw questions here, just go ahead. I can just check them and answer whatever you guys want to know. So I'm gonna add some more filtering, maybe a phaser this time. This works. I don't have sound cards or monitors. I only have my PC, and my headphones are Audio-Technica's ATH M40Xs. So, if that helps. That's a mixing problem, because you actually need to compress them right and get the EQs to sound right. So basically what I can tell is to try to use compressors, multi-band compressors, and focus on the low end, having more attack, and try to not cut the spectrum here too much, and when you do, try boosting it a little to up again, so you have the sound the same, but still cut the other frequencies. But yeah, like, just try to avoid cutting it too much, and while making this sound, make sure that it sounds in that frequency range, so it's not like it's not empty in the low mids. That's really cool. Mostly because, like, you can adjust the grid here. It's quite easy. Just adjust it here and you can see the lines here. Helps a lot. People say yes. I do agree that the M40Xs are better than the M50Xs, but I mean, it's up to you. Depends on what your ears can perceive. Mine work actually better for the M40Xs, but you should try both and see what happens. Actually helps a lot better. It would be a lot better than actually using just going for one of them. But I do recommend the M40Xs because they're pretty fucking good. Okay, let's keep going. So for arrangement purposes, I'm gonna add a macro. It's gonna modulate my rate for the LFO1. A little too fast. Still too fast. There. There we go. So with this being automated, you can, if you actually use this technique to use the macro, it can be quite easy for you to actually automate everything. And hold up, I think I have zoom. No, I don't. Okay, you can actually use this and automate it to make arrangements. So things like this. Let's make a random. Oops. Random loops here. Just to show you guys how to use the rate thing. Oops. There. Let me just do something real quick. This is bothering me. There. Wow, this works. So by automating this LFO thing, you just have to click it on a button, and there. Just automate it to when you want it to be shorter, like this. This part here, I think it should be there. Great. You can hear the difference. Okay, so this is the automated, obviously, and here is the difference between them. It's actually really useful. You can do pretty much anything with macros. I'm gonna get to that in a little moment. So with sound designing, you actually have to make the sound thinking that you're gonna use in a music, like in a song. So you have to make it easy to change whenever you want to make variations of it. So this is a great example of how to do it. But yeah, and let's go for another macro. I'm gonna right now actually use my LFO2 to go to route it to my master tune. So it's gonna change the pitch of the sound. So I need it to go like this. Wait. There. And sometimes I don't want it to actually do that, so I'm gonna use the aux source in the matrix, and it's gonna, hold up, I just dropped something here. Sorry for that, but yeah. You can actually go to matrix and use your macro 2 on the aux source, and when you don't want it to be pitch modulated, you can just leave the macro at 0%. So let's say the parts where I want it to work, I'm gonna use it at 100%. but I don't want it to go here, so either here. Okay, so this is how our automation is gonna be. So it's pitch automated, it's pitch modulated here, and here it's not. So I'm gonna actually copy this to the other sections. Yep. Now this is just how you can use the tools you have on Serum to make your workflow easier, because instead you would have to have perfect automations here, and it's really hard to get those like from here because you don't really have the exact same numbers and shit. But yeah. What happened here? I'm gonna add another EQ over here. You can actually make a drop just for this purpose. Would be way easier. Just grab my wait, not here. The classic sounds we always use. There. I'm not gonna explain this because I already did on other live streams. You can check them in the Academy FM vault, but this is just how I process my drums. There. Let's copy this MIDI, but I'm not gonna use it the same key. There. I'm just making this really quick because I want to focus on sound designing. So wait, it's not here. This works. Oops. This is not right. I can't. Never mind. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't really make ARPs on Serum because I think it's easier to just use the arpeggiator. Like, you can use the arpeggiator and make just a pluck, so it works like an ARP. Make ARPs and ARP loops inside Serum is actually quite difficult. Hang on. Question about your RTT preset. I try to copy the preset colors are opposite. Colors? Oh. Oh yeah, it actually does make a difference. Thing is, hang on. It's actually the ratio. Try looking for your ratios and putting them on the above. You can actually use 1 to 66.7. It's quite difficult to get to that number, but yeah. So I'm gonna actually finally release these. So keep your eyes on my page, and I'm gonna probably post it on the Academy FM group too. The presets for these, I'm gonna ask for permission and do that because it's probably gonna help you guys. Try a random loop here, just so it's a little more feel. I'm actually gonna grab a random, really random loop. So yeah, I think I have some here. Yeah. Again, don't mind this. It's just that I want to focus on the actual sound design, not on the drums. So yeah. Okay. So here I have one sound. I'm gonna make another one because this one is honestly quite shitty. I'm gonna be making several sounds so you guys know. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's make an entire drop. So this is how I work. I make the first batch that has all the ideas I had for the drop. For example, this would be something like it. But since it's just one sound, it's not very interesting. So let's make something doper. So I'm gonna actually duplicate this and isolate where I want it to be the sound. So this is gonna be the second sound. So I want it to be over here, this part here too. So yeah, and now here I can actually turn this off, and yeah, it is still the same thing, but now we can change it. This is the second patch, so let's go. gonna change the wavetable here. Here. The slowest part of making a sound is actually finding a cool wavetable that's gonna fit with the other one, because I use FM a lot. This is getting too generic. This is getting so generic. I want to make something really cool. I don't usually put reverb like using the internal thing, like I don't use this reverb. I prefer to use the reverb on Ableton, and so I can actually edit everything out, because I have some different configurations I can do here that I cannot do over here, because it's just too simple. And I don't really recommend using the built-in reverb on Serum or Massive, especially Massive, because to be honest, I hate Massive's reverb. It's too basic, really. I'll make something like this. Yeah, I'm gonna explain everything. It's just that I'm just like focusing on making a simple arrangement here so you guys can understand my workflow. So basically what I did was I just like changed some stuff here. I think I changed the actual wavetable. Yeah. So I changed the wavetable here to something a little more with like sine waves. This one starts as a sine wave, and it has this sine wave properties here, but it does have some high end in the other side, so it goes like this. It's really good for FMing when it's like that, because it has the amount of high frequencies and low frequencies, so it's perfect basically. And this one is basically the same thing, except it's a little more squarey. It has like this square aspect to it, like a little bit here. You can see it. It's a little different from this one, which is more round. And here is just an effect that I added for the extra arrangement. does this delay. But yeah, I'm gonna make something cooler than this. Let's go for more voices so we can have that distorted thing. Let's try to adjust the filter here. Wait, I'm just change this. Try to find your right position. I'm gonna use comms, I think. It still has the metallic sound, but it's not as metallic as reverb filter. But yeah. I'm gonna change this. Here. There. Okay, cool. Okay, so I have tested most of Serum's filters, so I basically know all of them now, but it's good to always try different filters to see how they sound like in that sound. I usually go for high pass and band pass and maybe this low band high, which is the LBH filter. I usually go for the 12 or the 50, 24. And I like for like post processing. I would say like this is the main filter, and this would be like another filter that you can use. I usually use it like maybe with reverb filter or comps, or maybe with some flangers or phasers, or maybe comps here. It depends on what texture I want for my sound. If you want something more metallic, you should go for the comps or the reverb filter. If you need some other vowels, you go for this section where the flanges are. It's gonna help you with that. But it's always good to test the filters you want to use. I always do that actually. But in terms of knowing each filter, I know that it's good to keeping in mind what you're gonna use so you can actually progress faster when making a track. Sorry for that. Great. So what I did here was I added some voices and I adjusted the detune so they're a little more out of pitch, because this is what the detune does. It picks the voices and changes the pitch of each one of them. and it sounds a little distorted. It sounds distorted when you actually turn off the random, because what it does, this yellow line here is, this one here, is where the phase is going to start. So for example, if I put it here, bass is going to start playing from there to the left and repeating this several times. And over here is like a range of randomness that this line can start, so it doesn't sound the exact same thing every time. So if you have it like this, it's gonna start at a random point every single time. Like this is gonna start on a random point, like inside that yellow area. And if you put it to 0, it's gonna always start at the same point. And when you have it detuned, it sounds like this massive array of pitched wavetables just going through each other. It sounds really cool. So yeah, on the LFO you could go for something like, you need to put the LFO as like, say, the mouth of your sound, because it's gonna control all filters, all modulations and stuff. It's actually easier to work like that, because here I have it modulated to 8 destinations, and as you can see them here, it's just things that are gonna make the vowel of the sound. So it goes. It's really cool. But yeah, something like this would be good for growls. And really slow. I'm using it like this here because I'm using it for a short thing. Oops. Sounds really cool. I don't really use the effects, sorry, the noise oscillator, but it's really useful actually. If you want to go for, if you have a bass that's like lacking in some frequencies, for example, say this one, you can actually just add a white noise, for example. Let me pick a white noise here. Let's go for the organ noise. Put it through the filter and like use it slightly. It was really cool, but I don't really use it that much, to be honest. What do you do to do this? Note at the start of the second bar to have that effect. It is being automated. It's speed on the LFO1 is being automated by the macro here, so you have this shorter note. Now let's make a sub. Subs are the easiest thing in the world actually. You really just need a sine wave, pitch down. Oops. Why can I? Oh, I'm dumb. Don't forget to turn the direct on, direct out on, because this is gonna help you. Because this, what it does is, instead of putting the sub output through this rack here, it's gonna go straight to the master, so it's not affected by any effects. This is for when you want to make a base patch and you want to have the sub already in it. So yeah. On the envelope one, you want to add a little bit of attack just so you don't have a click in the sub, because it happens quite a bit. And what I'm gonna do now is not completely necessary, but I like to do it, is pick my LFO1 and put it on envelope mode around 10 hertz on the rate, and I put it to like 6 on the master tune modulation. I don't think you can hear it, but it's just, I'm gonna actually put it to 12 here. Actually adds a little bit of transient, let's say, a little bit of impact to your sub, just a tiny little bit. And now I'm gonna use my compressor, which is not here. But yeah, this is what I would do to make my sub sound better. So let me compare that to the OTT thing. Okay, so for the purpose of having everyone to understand what I'm doing here, I'm gonna actually use OTT, which is the default plugin on Ableton. And okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna turn off on the high and mid bands, because I'm not gonna use them. I'm gonna put my sub frequency to 45 hertz, my input to 6, my output to 6, my attack to 80 milliseconds, and my release to 200 milliseconds. Below I'm gonna put it to -40, and above -35. This works, this is fine. And I'm gonna turn my time up to 500. I'm gonna need more release because it's making a little click. But yeah, this is quite loud now. I'm gonna cut the higher frequencies here, so put this cut around here, this high cut. Actually not gonna use this one, just this other one. At 140, sounds cool. Here, I'm gonna put it on 80 because I need to boost the other frequency. Oops. Here. There. So I need to boost the other frequency because the compressor here, I'm gonna actually rename this to sub bass, and I'm gonna save it because I need to post these three. And this is what you're gonna use. This is a compressor for subs, and it's gonna really compress your sub, and it's gonna add frequencies to the lowest points where you cannot hear it that much, so it brings that up. It makes the sub very full. And after that I'm gonna use just a limiter to make sure that my sub's not going over 0 decibels, which it is in fact. Just the first transient, but yeah. So I'm gonna just copy this to here, as I think I already did. Yeah, I think this fits. So now you just have to actually add your sub and copy its copy the midis here. It's quite loud now, so I'm gonna put it down. Actually, I think everything here is just too loud. Missing this one. So these are some basic sounds that you can make on Serum. Now we can proceed to making like the background. So it would mean maybe an, not sure, maybe a supersaw and maybe an ARP here. So I'm gonna make new thing. What's happening here? Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, this is very simple, but I'm not gonna use it like that. Depends on the texture you want. Okay, so I'm gonna probably post them on my Facebook page, which is the Zetta Facebook page. It's easy to find. Just look for Zetta, but I'm gonna ask if I can post them on the Academy FM group too, if that helps. I'm gonna try to post them there. If not, just look for the. Just keep your eyes on my page. I'm gonna post it as soon as this live stream is off. Let's make some more voices. And a little more. I want this to be really out of pitch, so I'm gonna go for this. Yeah. This is sick. Sounds a lot like spaghetti. Oh yeah. It's basically it, to be honest. Like, making Supercell is quite easy. Okay, so depends on the texture, as I was saying, depends on the texture of the bass that you want to go for. Like, for example, that's why you need to know your wavetables. I know mine, I know, for example, that this wavetable, it is from Massive, but I love this one. This one is, like, it has this sine aspect, but it also has a little bit of high end, so it sounds... You know what I'm saying? You need to know the texture you have for each wavetable, so you know what to go for when you want to make a specific bass. It actually helps you a lot. Like this one I would not use, but it really depends on what you're gonna wanna go for. Just shoot me like some references of basses that I could try to remake. Would be really cool. I could actually try to remake someone's track if that would help you guys. I need to add a little bit of attack. Honestly, it's cool to just test them out, man. Like, experiment with them. Make whatever you want, like, just add random wavetables and see what they sound like. If they fit together, then it's good. Or, like, go through all your wavetables and try to make sound with them. Like just try going for like, let's say, okay, today I'm gonna try this pack, and then you go for like anti-stasis, for example. This is like the first wave table. So you try to make something using this one, and if it turns out to be something good, then you can actually like write down the name of it, or like just try to remember it next time you open Serum. But you need to do this like a lot. You really need to practice, because sound designing is about remembering techniques that you know how to use. For example, I use the FM a lot, and you have like certain wavetables that don't fit for it. Like it's just gonna sound awful. So just try to remember the wavetables that you think that are cool. Like I usually go for, you can actually try to copy them and make and put them on like a separate folder. I would do that, but I don't really have the time. Code Pandorum sound design. I can actually. It's not that hard. It's the same technique I used to make this last basses here. And this is not something. Yeah, you should probably do that. That's what I did actually. Just like randomly picked wavetables, and some of them sounded cool, some of them did not. That's how you like filter what's good and what's not on your like I'd say wavetable library. But yeah, that's how you like filter them out. So yeah, this is the first thing here. I'm gonna actually make some ARPs now. Copy this. It's as simple as that, to be honest, but I'm not gonna use the init patch. Depends. Like if you wanna get to the exact code Pandorum sound, you're probably gonna need resampling, but you can get it on Serum too. I tend to use like a lot of random wavetables from random packs. Maybe even like percussion sounds. It's cool to have like different sounds every time you make a new patch. But yeah, I usually go for the cymatics ones and massives and the stock ones too. They're not bad, they're actually great. Oops. Weird. Never had problems with that. I have to pitch them like here? This is really weird. I think it was 440. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna explain how to Genja White Knight. Okay, so I did it here, so I'm gonna go for this one that has more movement. So here what I did was I actually picked the macro 1 and I put it on the rate of my LFO, which is modulating my level on my oscillator A. And you can easily do that. So what it does, you have like the macro here modulating this, and it's gonna control this over this small range here. So it's only gonna go from here to here, which is the maximum for this macro. And what I did here, I automated it, like I automated the macro. So when I wanted to go shorter, I just use this higher setting, which is 100, and this is at 36, so it's not as short. You see what I'm talking? Yeah, you just really have to find the best wavetable. Automate wavetable. I mean, you can automate the volume. Sorry, not volume. What I'm saying like that. But you can actually automate the wavetable position here. That's cool for adding things to the texture of the bass, as long as you don't have a wavetable that changes too much. You can actually use it. You can automate it. I actually put my LFO1 over here. As you can see, it's messing with my wavetables here. It's good to have them modulated so they make a lot of sounds. You have infinite possibilities with Serum. You just have to use the right tools. So, more questions? Downbeat grouse. I actually did. Oh yeah, let's keep going for the ARP here real quick. It's quite simple. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually use the LFO1 and I want it to be a little more like a bow, so I'm gonna use a sine wave. Add some attack, reverb. Cool. Simple delay. I need 4 notes. Weird. Oh yeah. Cool. It's not really sounding as I expected, but yeah. 0.50, 0.75. So it has a little bit of stereo on it. But yeah, cool. The more you add like any modulation to any sine wave, the more you get it to sound like a saw wave, which is weird. Ass eating cunt. I wish I had I had went to the Lost Lens Festival. But I live in a different country, so yeah. I need to have more high-end. I'm gonna try to add my... wait. Oh, I don't have it here. But yeah, I was gonna add my mastering thing, but it's not there. Rack, my mastering rack, sorry, I was trying to remember the word. So here we have like a basic, really basic thing, really basic drop that I used, and I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna make some more variations, so I'm gonna add another base. So delete this, and delete this, because I want this to go. Wait, simple delay there. So I'm gonna add the effect. And now this is gonna be a different sound, so I'm going to go a little differently too. Yeah, sounds really cool. Sequence effect. Try using auto pan or the synced LFO here alongside with the actually modulating the level here. It's gonna be way easier. So yeah. Okay, this sounds cool. What is my sub? I think this is my sub. There. Need to change the size of this so my sub fits. Still too long. Now we changed this. Let's try a new filter. This one needs to be like not on 100% on me. cuts too much of the frequencies. I'm gonna try to use high pass. Let's try some new wavetables too. I'm gonna look for a new wavetable to make this sound really sick. There's already two. So wavetables like this, for example, you see that it has a lot of small movements and small sections here like these. This is the high end, so this definitely does not work for FM because it has too much high end, so it's gonna sound like white noise or something. This one either. This one, not really sure. This one, even though it has some weird properties, it is a sine wave in some ways. Has sine waves over here. I'm gonna try to use this one. Try something else like I'm gonna go for something really heavy. Hang on. This is basically what you're gonna do when you're making patches. You're just gonna stare at Serum for like hours, looking for the perfect wavetable. Turn the filter on, and I'm gonna actually layer these, so I'm gonna use two wavetables together. I'm gonna use this instead of the LFO thing. Sorry, not LFO, the FM thing. Yep. Yeah. Difference between two basses you're using. Like this is the main bass. This is the like first bass that's gonna always hit on the first bar. This is another variation of it, this third one. This is the one I'm making right now. Could still try the FM though, hang on. Nope, this one's not gonna work. What is this doing? I use the macro mostly for this modulation setting I'm using here, which is my, I'm actually name this. So this one controls the rate of my LFO1 and maybe the other LFOs that I want to keep it synced with, and the other one is modulating my pitch LFO. So for example, this one goes up to, wait, I think 12? No, 2. It goes up to 2 semitones, and this macro here is on the aux source of it, so I can turn it off whenever I want to not have the pitch modulation. This is basically how I use them. Yeah, that's why you always have to be like fast when working, and you have to have like at least other tracks to be working already when you're gonna release something. So like if you make, let's say if you make 3 tracks and release one, you're still gonna have one to release later, and then when the third one is done, you can release that one too. Instead of using the pitch wheels, we'll let the pitch use the master channel. I use the master tune, which is over here. This is the output pitch. Let's say this is the pitch from the entire synth here. This is what it does. It's basically like doing this, but inside Serum. Yeah, sorry for that. Hang on. How many basses do people use? Depends. Really, really depends. Cause for example, I usually go for like from 4 to like 6 basses in a drop, because I make a lot of variations. But some people can actually use like just 3 and make variations on them and still sound really good. And some other people can actually make. Some people actually make a lot. Like I've seen, even on my projects, I've seen like tracks having 12 to 15 basses. It really depends on what style you're going for, and yes, sub is really important. Like, you cannot have a drop without the sub, or at least some low frequencies. If it's not dubstep, you can actually use like the kick as your sub. But if it is dubstep, you should probably add a sub to it. And I'm gonna release this sub bass thing here too, which is the compressor for my sub. Okay, this bass is horrible. I need to change this. Let's go for the Serum Spectral section. This is cool. These are the classics. Try to play a lot with the warps here, which are these, like bend, asymmetric, mirror, or whatever. Just try to play with them and understand what they do, because, for example, bend plus is gonna like literally bend your your wavetable, so bend plus is gonna bend it inwards the center. Bend minus does the opposite. That's just it. Bend minus plus, just like the same thing with both, but one does the bend plus to the left and bend minus to the right. It's basically the same thing with asymmetric. It's gonna warp your wavetable to the left on asymmetric plus, and on asymmetric minus, it's gonna do the same thing but to the right. And same thing for the plus and minus. It's just bending. Mirror is obvious. It just mirrors the thing and duplicates it. Sorry. And well, on dubstep, most people do have sub, but on other genres like big room, house, or other stuff, you don't really need a sub if your kick is in key. It's not really necessary. It depends. Really depends on the style. Most of the times, you are gonna need a sub. Oops. Should probably change this one because this is not doesn't work well. Yeah, it's not. Like, okay, so what I did here, I have three bases, which are these. Ignore the third one because it sounds like shit. But I have also my sub, which follows the bass's pattern. So, I'm not sure if you hear it, but it's there. Just too low for the internet to to actually process it. But yeah, I'm not sure if you guys can hear it because probably OBS's audio is high passed. But yeah. You need to have a sub to make things go fuller in the low frequency. What are you listening for when you change wavetables like that? I'm trying to make it sound less white noisy because it has a lot of noise here, so you want to avoid that. So it's okay. You can take your time because even I'm taking my time here to find a cool wavetable that fits. Like this one. Fits with the aspect you need for good FM, which is not too noisy. But I think this one is not helping. Sorry. I'm gonna try a different one. I think why it's not working here is this. Just the depends. Sometimes I want to make like some more distorted drums. For example, on some hip hop tracks where you want the kick to be a little distorted, I can actually use saturator and the OTT and glue compressor, but I mostly only use the OTT and glue compressor. Using a sub, I'm using Serum. I'm using Serum and this compressor here I just made it. I'm gonna post it on my page so you guys can download it and use it. Just really look out for the volume level after you use it. Let's keep trying to find a cool. I think phase verse. No, it's not. I'm gonna go with the classics. Let's go for Dirty Throat. Oh my god, there's a cat in my desk. Go down. There. Everybody knows that Skrillex invented dubstep. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure. How do you have the drop sounding like it's evolving to parts of the... What? Sorry, I really didn't understand your question. Just a sign? Okay, so yeah. On my sub, I'm using a regular sine wave, but it has just like a really quick, um, a really fast automation to the pitch. Wait, I'm gonna try to show you. You can hear it. This. This adds a little transient to the beginning of the sub, so it hits a little harder. Always make a separate sub. It's not good to use the internal Serum sub because you're gonna need to process the bass after you're done with it, like a lot of processing, and it's gonna just destroy the sub you made. Part your work it's not like it's pitching up in a rhythm to the rest of the other basses. Yeah, it is. This is meant to be like that, so basses kind of connect with each other, sorry, damn, English. But yeah, what happens is I'm making the basses so they connect with each other. Like I have this, the first bass, and then I jump into the next one. And then it goes back to the first one and repeats the pattern. Then there's small variation here, because I don't have this over here, it just goes straight to the snare. And here, listen to my remix last night. Oh, did you like it? So this one here needs to be adjusted. We are just taking too long on this. Let's pick another one. Kangaroo. Yeah, I did it with the master tune. I'm gonna add this automation here so it goes. This is not right. That's good to know. I'm gonna make some You can use advantage of every single thing to make a good sound that fits with the other one. So I'm gonna try to use some pitch bend modulation here. I'm gonna draw this LFO. I have an idea. Like, do you mind explaining how to use the EQ? Okay, so basically, Zetta is the best. Oh. Yeah, you can actually make Say My Name's drops by just dropping a random just kidding. No, you have to use a lot of tuning EQ before after compressor. After, always after. Like, you don't want to use EQ before. I mean, you can have EQs before compressors, but just for adjusting. And then you must use an EQ after the compressor, especially the multi-band compressor, because it's gonna bring up frequencies that you don't want, and you need to adjust that. A lot of people just say it doesn't really matter, but it order really does matter here. Like, you must use the EQ after the post multi-band. Here. I don't think this macro is doing anything. I don't think the master tone one is doing anything, so I'm gonna just remove it from here. Subtractive EQ is better to use before compressor. Yeah, depends. As I said, if you wanna make like some adjustments before putting it to the post multi-band, I mean, I'm explaining how to use it for this specific preset. But let's say you have a glue compressor here. This is not gonna change a lot on your frequencies, but yes, you still need an EQ. You always need EQs. Like, you need EQs everywhere, because they're gonna make your sounds go cleaner. If you use them right. So I'm gonna explain a little bit here. So I'm gonna reset this. So as you can hear and see on the spectrum, there's a lot of frequencies here that were accentuated. So you want to remove those. So I'm going to use the low cut. Okay. Cut it here. around 140. You don't want to remove too much of the bass, if not it's gonna sound really like whack, and it's not really good. Yeah, EQs are very important, just as compressors are, because you want everything tight and compressed in the properly compressed in the mix down. It's gonna help you a lot to get the things to sound cleaner and easier for you to master. You're at work. Okay, so now I'm gonna, what I did here, I just cut the low frequencies. I put it a little, just put a little boost on it so it doesn't lose a lot of the frequencies on these this range here, the 200 hertz range. And I'm gonna go for the other band, because this plugin here, it's gonna add a lot of transients to the 2.5 kilohertz range, so you have to remove them. So here I have a band on 2.5. I'm gonna remove like 2.5 decibels of it, and a little bit more. Yeah, I just wanted to remove things from this range, so always try to always do this, because this frequency really hurts in your ears. Is it Portuguese, the language on my browser? Yeah, it is. Sorry for my bad English. No worries. If you use EQ and then a multi-band and miss the music. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. If you use if you do this, like you do things here, blah 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 blah, and you want to use the compressor, you can use it, blah blah, and then after this you have to use the EQ, just to make sure that things are still in place. So you know, it's your best advice for making old school dub growls new to sound design. Well, I would say frequency modulation, which is FM, but not the regular frequency modulation, not serums. I'd say FM8's serum, frequency modulation, but you can do it on serum. First thing I would recommend is getting old school wavetables, like massive wavetables that are free to download somewhere in the internet. I'm not sure. It's released on several pages. You can just find it. And it's cool to have like sounds that you think that are old school. It really depends on the wavetables you're going for. For example, let's say those growls that Skrillex used to make could be remade with like wavetables like this, and modulations like band plus or band minus. Since there was no asymmetric in the massive era, you don't want to use those. Just focus on band plus, band minus, or both. I don't know. And try to have the last word on. Okay, I'm gonna just make a simple growl here just to show you guys. I'm gonna actually use a different technique this time. I'm gonna grab my favorite wavetable for growls. Instead of using the LFO, I'm gonna use macro 1. Pitch it down. Find a cool range here. Great. I'm gonna add a little bit of macro. Sorry, I've banned. Why am I changing words today? Like, I'm just saying random things. Would you put 808 dubstep, that's hybrid thread? Yeah, depends. If it fits, I guess I would put an 808 on it. Would be kind of hard to mix it though, because 808s would have just a lot of clicks whenever you use sidechain. Yeah, now I'm gonna add some more voices. There. Great. I like how this is going. I'm gonna turn on my internal compressor. Cool. high pass. Put it to this resonance. I have the vowel, so it's go wah. It's already really good, so I'm gonna add phaser, the classic. So I'm gonna, this should be here. I'm gonna turn off, I'm gonna put my phases to be synced, so 0 degrees or percent, whatever. I'm gonna keep my feedback on 50%, then I'm gonna throw my macro on the frequency thing here. Yeah, that could work. Like making the attack a little slower would actually work to mix the 808s. Sounds really cool. Add some distortion. Yep. This can really be applied to any wavetables. And I'm gonna use another one. I'm gonna try to add another phaser here. What is the filter? Oh my god! I'm gonna call this growl. You guys did not see that. I'm gonna put this to 12, my pitch range, this to -12. This is my growl. I'm gonna actually try to fit this over here. Oops. Oh my god. So I'm gonna automate my growl here. Now this is where things get interesting. You can make it, you can automate it like in so many ways. Add my post motor. I need to turn these. Doesn't sound very cool now, but doesn't sound really cool now, but I'm gonna add the pitch modulation. This is my pitch here. I'm gonna try to make it go like that. I'm gonna change it a little bit. Oh yeah. That's way better. I need to change the thing here. Simple delay, hang on. Oh, it's on these. Yeah, it's this an effect here. This one. It's a delay, so it just delays things. That's just a regular effect. Group. No, you should not do the group thing. Because all bases are gonna come like with different frequencies, and everything is gonna just like collide with each other. So it's not good to use just like one chain for everything. You must do like every base. You need to have the specific setting for EQ and multi-band compressors or any compressors you use. It's not good to just mix everything together, just do it individually. So here it's something really cool. I need to change this a little bit more. I'm gonna add phaser here. This is just to... There we go. Let's make these. Need to make these shorter. So like here. How many tracks do you end up with? What? Within a full production? What do you mean? Like, how many tracks do I actually finish? I have this bass reverb thing that I use to add some room to my stuff. So like this one has no room at all, but now it has with like 400 meters, I'd say, but I think it's milliseconds probably. I don't know why it doesn't show the S. It should, but yeah, it's just AM. So yeah. You know what it does, just a regular reverb, like a really, really short reverb and small, so it just adds a little bit to the acoustics of the basses. Oh, tracks, like channels. Wow, my biggest projects ended up with like around 134. I think it's my biggest. No, never mind. I have bigger projects, but it's usually like above 100 tracks. So like around from 100 to let's say 150. That's like the average. It's a lot of tracks to mix down, but yeah. But some like smaller projects, like most data projects are bigger than actually the DeltaBot ones, because I think only one DeltaBot track had like more than 100 tracks, and I think all Zetta tracks have, I'd say, at least 100 channels. But yeah, it's not about numbers though. Like it's about how effective the sounds you put are to work together with the other ones, just to fit everything together, you know. Because you can have a full track with like, let's say, 50 channels and not have a full track with like 150, because those 150 just don't work together. Rest in peace. Wet. I'm gonna make something. I wanna make like this transition here to make it sound a little different. I'm gonna just remove the other one here. I'm gonna add a amen break and a move break. This should actually work. It depends. Sometimes layering a lot works. Sometimes it doesn't. Does anything go when creating your variations? Wavetable. Yeah, mostly like wavetable position or the filters or the, yeah, exactly. That's pretty much everything I change when I'm making variations. But if we're talking about these like automation variations, I just use the rate of the LFO, or maybe sometimes I can use the pitch, like just put a macro on these like octave thing here, but it's really rare, so it doesn't really count. Try to find a cool thing here. Yeah, maybe. Beats. This is a cool technique here. You'll see how I changed it. Like, you can actually make things shorter using the beats setting here. You just have to use this like single arrow thing here. I don't know how it's called. It doesn't really have a name. And then you choose the size of the transient. So I like to use like at 40 or something. What am I doing? Oh yeah, 200. Oh, I haven't even added a crash yet. Forgot about that. I can actually add something really quick. Tarot drums, symbols. There. Make it shorter. And lower. And more centered. There. Good. Yes, it is. I have a really good example. Thank God. So this is one of my tracks with my friend Ratchet, and I made a drop and hold up here. I'm not sure how I can explain this, but this has layering in so many levels. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Like, every single bass there is a layer of like 3 different basses that I have like just tons of automations. But yeah, it is really worth it layering a basses, but it's kind of hard if it's like the first time. But it's just a matter of like, just like some designs, a matter of practicing and like testing things out. I'm gonna use this one. Just gonna turn it the other side and here. Something here has, oh, it has too much reverb here. That's why I thought it was a little weird. And yeah, I agree with Cole. It doesn't really matter, as I said. It's just that my projects get really big. But it's not a good thing, to be honest. Like, it just gets messier and messier and hard to work. And if you don't have a good computer, most of your projects, if they are really big, they're not gonna open in any other computer. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. I haven't saved this entire time. I really hope it doesn't crash or anything. But yeah, we have like a few minutes left, so you guys can shoot me some questions. Like, whatever. Yeah, CPU overload. Yup. Really sucks. And it's gonna be a little hard to collab for you to export stems, because it's gonna take a bit. You can do it easily on Ableton, but it's still gonna take a little bit for you to rename stuff. But yeah, shoot me questions, anything. I'm gonna be releasing my 20k freebie soon, just to let you guys know. I'm gonna be announcing it tomorrow, I hope. This is the mixing technique I use for my projects. There's like post multiband and EQ thing. Works really well. Very cool use of the hyperdimension effects. Okay, so you can actually use it to make, hang on, let me pick my supersaws here. So you can use it to make supersaws if you have enough voices. as you can hear. And I don't really use dimension because I don't really like it. Like the effect that it gives, it's just a little weird for me. Um, I don't like the spacing that it adds to the stereo, so I rather not use it. So I don't think there's anything cool to do with it. And also, it's just like a dimension expander. It's not gonna do a lot. It's focused on mixing. And here is, I need my regular values. Sorry. There. I can just put my song back to the. Oh damn. This is stupid. Okay, more questions? I am on Windows 10 and it is stable. I've never had problems with it. The only thing I'd say is that the Explorer is a little shitty. Like I've had problems with files getting corrupted, but I think that's just a regular thing. So I'm not gonna blame it on Windows 10 just because my computer sucks. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can post it on the Academy FM group. I'm gonna talk with Drew right now. So yeah, just go check it out there. And if it's not there, I'm gonna post it in the next minutes on my page. So stay up. Still some minutes to go. Shoot more questions. What used to be your weakness? I don't really know. I would say I started having like I'd say like all the weaknesses. Let's say, for example, first I didn't know how to start a track. I didn't know how to make melodies. I didn't understand how music actually worked. And over time, I started to learn how to make my sounds and how to make my own melodies and how to make them to sound cool and to make my own style and try to make original stuff, which is what I try now. New Ozone 8 and Neutron 2? No, I have not tried these out. I'm still on Ozone 7. What features you would like for Ableton 10? First of all, I would like them to fix this stupid pitch bend bug, because if you leave it like this, it's gonna affect the next clip. I'm gonna show you here. And the next one starts out of pitch, so you have to make an automation. And this bug is here since Ableton, like I think since the version 8, I guess, and still haven't been corrected. But I think that's one of the things that I would like for Ableton 10. How did you get your music to be heard by the right people? Marketing. I think the correct marketing techniques get you to the correct people, and I've got some solid contacts, so I got the chance to have my music released where the people would actually like. So I'm really lucky to have these contacts. I mostly start my tracks from the intro and make the drop after that. Like I'd make just like an intro and just a placeholder build up, and then I go straight to the drop, and then when I have ideas for the build up, I'm gonna start working on my drop. Sorry, and when I have ideas for the build up, I'm gonna go back and work on it, so I have like the entire first structure done. I'm not sure, depends, because it's a new version, so you might have to, but I don't know. It's up to them when they're gonna announce it, hopefully soon. Last song you made? My jaw drop. The last song. I'm not sure, to be honest. I just listen to music all the time, and I'm always like listening to new stuff. So I would say that the last song that actually blew my mind was it's two songs. It's first I would say Hero Bust Depth in 8, like his new like rhythm track. I think the basses and the overall feel of the track is just awesome. Like everything works together, you know. And another track that I think that fits entirely with the context is 12th Planet's Let Us Pray from his Neo EP. It's really sick. But yeah, this is it for today, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry if I say something I shouldn't have to. But thank you for watching, and I see you guys soon. Bye.